Welcome to the Quilty Friends podcast with your host, Johnny Barfus. Today's guest is my friend Ann Pack. And here's Johnny. Okay, we are live. Thank you so much for coming down.
Thank you for having me.
I'm so glad you're here. So, this is my friend Ann Pack. Ann is a transgender woman.
Mm-hmm.
And with all of there's just all this energy going on in the world or the United States right now surrounding trans people and drag queens for some weird reason. They're the targets of whatever.
They seem to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You seem to be. You can say we seem to be because.
Oh, right.
I mean,
it's not
right?
like it
is you.
Right. It's
so
me and people like me.
So, I really wanted to have a conversation with probably the only person. You're like the only trans person that I know. I mean, we don't even know another person. I know.
Get out more,
I do. I don't really have any trans friends. I don't hang out with trans people. So,
well,
I mean, I do, but not. You know what I mean?
Most people. I can't remember this statistic, but most people don't know someone who's trans. So
right. Yeah. So I keep thinking today. I was thinking about this conversation, and I was thinking about how I would say it. And Brene Brown talks about it's hard to hate people close up.
Yes.
Oh, we have a dog barking. Oh my gosh. Sorry. Okay, go.
Yeah, I love Brene Brown and a lot of things she says. I think one of her other ones that I really like is if something makes you uncomfortable, get close, or something like that. If somebody makes you uncomfortable.
Right.
Get close.
So I also kind of feel like Mr. Rogers a little bit too, right? Because Mr. Rogers, if you know, that's what he did is he had people that were different on his show as guests. Yeah. And so that's why I really wanted to just have a conversation with you for my audience and people who may find this later of what it's like to be a trans person.
I'm all for it.
Okay.
So,
So thanks for coming.
Thank having me.
I really appreciate it. Okay. So first question I usually ask is how do we know each other?
Didn't we meet a few years ago at George and Allison?
Yeah. So there's a big crowd of people that
what do they call it? They call it
Dine and Dash.
Yes.
So a few of my friends have started weekly activity. Well, I don't know if they're doing it right now. They're still doing monthly, I think. So kind of monthly activities where young people and there were Mormon and gay or Mormon and queer. It's where queer, Mormon, young people or people of all ages can be accepted, have a place to come. They usually do an activity like on a Sunday night. Mm-hmm. They did a Sunday school. And if you have any questions or anything about that, I'd love to entertain more questions about that. But basically it's just people hosting dinner parties. And
there's a few groups like that around, which I think is great because often, people don't feel like they belong anywhere. And
a lot of
it's great that these
my gosh. The dogs, you guys.
Yeah.
So many times for me leaving the church and people say, well, you don't have to leave the church, but as a trans person, you're not really super welcome in the church, right?
We're
talking about the Mormon church.
Oh, yeah.
So you just lose that community, right?
Right. And I tried really hard after I came out and started transitioning to stay in the church. I tried for years to stay, and it got to be where it was unhealthy for me to stay. So
that's kind of how I was too. I finally felt like this is getting off a different topic, but I felt like who I am, it wouldn't be okay for me to be who I am in this culture.
Yeah.
That was the biggest thing, is the culture.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just a gay man, but I can be a little bit flamboyant about things I'm passionate about. Not
really.
Yeah, I love, like, well, look at that color wall behind me. I love color and I love fabric.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna get out. This is a whole tangent.
This is
Should we just tell this story really quick? So
yes, tell it.
So I was studying. This is 2008. I was studying interior design at Weber State University.
Okay.
And I was 35 at the time. I was like 35, 36, you know. And so, but I had all these classmates, all my peers in classes were all like these 18, 19-year-old, mostly girls, you know. Right. And so I was just hanging out with all these people, and we all had the same tastes and the same passions. And I just loved being surrounded by these young people who were like, check out this furniture and check out this wallpaper and wait, you know. Yeah. So it was springtime. I started in the fall, went to the first semester, second semester, and the second semester, it was like right this time of year, actually. It was springtime. It was Easter. It was like a week before Easter, because everybody was at church was wearing their Easter clothing, you know, like the new Easter dresses and the men's ties, you know. Yeah. And everybody saw in church, I was like, oh, I love that tie, you know. Oh, you know. And that's just how I am. I just have always loved color, fabric, design, pattern, all the things, you know. Right. And I saw some
definitely not stereotypical.
Of a gay man.
No, not at all.
That's sarcasm. And I just said in the men's group, I said, oh, I love that tie. And I had a friend that kind of shot me this look, and I think he wouldn't disagree with that, but I thought, it's not okay for me to be who I am here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I just didn't feel comfortable. Anyway, that's starting off the whole thing with that conversation.
No, I definitely relate that it's not where I felt like I could be fully me.
Me.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's how we met, is at one of these groups, young people, like, I don't know how old you are, but I wasn't a young person, but I was alone. I don't know. Mostly I just go for like the companionship and finding like-minded people who are, you know, they're come from a religious background and want to meet other people that are like them.
Yeah. It's wonderful when you find out you're not alone.
Yes.
Because it can be scary growing up in the church and thinking, oh, I'm the only one. I'm the only. Yeah. No,
you're not.
True.
Okay. So that's how we know each other. Okay. Well, let's dig in then a little bit.
Jump right in.
Yes, we already did. Okay.
I'm ready.
Okay. So what is your earliest memory of feeling that you were different from other boys your age?
Oh, I would say probably as early as 5 or 6.
Yeah.
So yeah. And I know you said it was okay to correct you.
Oh, and thank you.
I'm gonna.
Okay.
I thought I was a boy. I was raised as a boy. Everyone said I was a boy.
Right.
The doctors, when somebody is born, they take a look and it's a boy or a girl. That's all it is. I don't view it as I changed genders or I switched genders.
Okay.
I believe I've always been female, regardless of what parts I had or didn't have, or so I didn't really understand or figure it out until later in life what this really was. But yeah, I've always felt that I belong more on the female.
You belong more on the female side of the spectrum.
Yes.
And I think I want to make, oh my gosh, the dogs, you guys, I apologize. I wanted to make one
I'm sure all your viewers will forgive you about
Well, I'm trying to go with audio too, and it's got to be a little more high quality if you're gonna have audio only. But can you guys calm down a little bit? Yeah, can you calm down?
And we're probably pretty similar in age.
I'm older than you, I'm sure.
Might be a few years.
How old are you?
46.
I'm 51. Okay, so that's like 6 years.
It's not like huge difference, but growing up, it was not okay to.
Right.
I realized early on that this thing about me was not okay.
Right.
And I hid it and shoved it down and tried to.
I was gonna say the RuPaul quote. As everyone's born naked, the rest is just drag, or whatever he says.
Okay, yes.
You know that famous RuPaul quote.
Yes.
If you don't know who RuPaul is a very famous drag queen, right?
Should we talk about the difference between drag queens?
Let's talk about the difference between drag queens, trans women, and female impersonators too.
Very true.
Okay, so start with whatever you want to start with. Go ahead.
Okay. Let's start with drag.
Well, because okay, keep going.
Okay. So I have a lot of friends who do drag and are drag queens, and they're amazing. I love and support them. Drag to them is an art.
Right.
It's a performance.
Yes.
They what they can do with outfits and makeup and wigs and it's an art to them.
It's a performance.
Right. Performance.
I think that was a really good word.
That's the key.
The key word is it's a performance.
Yes. A trans woman like myself, I'm not performing.
Right. This is not an act.
Right.
This is not a performance.
I don't, I'm this way. This is me.
All the time.
Right. Drag is what you do. Transgender is who I am.
Right.
Very, very different.
Yeah.
I wish more people knew the difference between the two. But
and it's getting very well. I don't watch the news at all.
Yeah.
Just so you know, but I keep seeing things, and whatever people are just kind of meshing them together to create one really bad, evil, identity or something. I guess, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what it seemed like to me. Like it's the vilifying. It's the vilifying of not a race, but a type. What would you call it? A subset.
Small minority group of people.
It's vilifying a small minority of people.
Yeah.
And this is not a political podcast, but that is the playbook for a large party, is the vilifying of people who are not like them. So that's what I really have a problem with is just taking people you don't know and saying that person's bad, sick, and wrong, simply because of who they are.
Well, and the bills that we're seeing in states targeting drag queens. Oh my
gosh.
I mean, that's also targeting trans women.
Yes.
But for some reason, nobody kind of brings up trans men.
Right.
Who are female assigned at birth, but identify as male.
Right.
For some reason that there isn't as much of an outcry for them, but
I don't know. It's
know
out of control. Whatever it is, it's out of control. You need to calm down.
I will try.
Not you. They need to calm down.
Yes. People in certain political parties need to take a chill pill.
Okay. So
what's our next question?
No. I just want to kind of go back to that 5-year-old person. that you were.
Mm-hmm.
So that's about the age, I think that's probably about the age that, well, you can start going to school and meet new people, and you're like, wait a second, I fit in more with that crowd than that crowd or something.
Yeah. Well, my earliest memory actually was playing around and playing dress up.
Uh-huh.
5-year-old kid,
Right.
Kids do.
Right.
And I remember the look that my mom and grandma just laughed and thought it was funny, but the look my dad gave me is ingrained in my mind.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of ashamed.
That's what his look was ashamed of me.
Yeah. And quickly learned
we learned to go, okay,
all right,
this okay, this not okay.
Right. And that was growing up for me, is trying to put on this act, because it was an act, and I learned really well how to do
at that point it was like, okay, well, I need to act like a boy, I need to act like all the other boys.
Yes.
Is that right? Yeah. Did you have any siblings?
I do. I'm the oldest of 5. I have 2 brothers, 2 sisters.
I'm the youngest of 5.
Wow. 2
brothers, 2 sisters.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ooh, it's really weird.
It is. So where did you feel was there anywhere that you felt comfortable, or anywhere at all that you felt in that existence that you felt like you could be, where you could be yourself? Probably not, right?
No. I mean, it's okay. I mean, when you're 5 or 6, playing dress up is, it's still considered, whatever. But it's not as cute when you're 13, 14, 15 playing dress up.
I think every year that you get older, in that person's eyes, we'll say an adult's eyes, it gets less cute, right?
Yeah.
Well, that was okay back then, but now we're getting to this point.
That's something's wrong with you, and we need to fix you.
Yeah. Okay, so speaking of fix you, was there therapy, like reparative therapy, anything like that you went to?
There was lots of that. There was lots of bishops' meetings, lots of therapists, LDS therapists. It would classify under reparative.
Reparative therapy. Yeah.
I one therapist when I was 15 showed me pornography. And I guess his whole reason for doing that is, this is what regular boys are into or do, and joke was on him, because I was looking at these women and I wanted to be them. I didn't. But
still,
yeah.
I like to think of a lot of that type of behavior from leaders is not happening anymore.
I would hope so.
And it still is. There's still the one-off, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But I hope it's getting better.
I hope.
I think with every generation, it gets a little better.
Yeah.
So, did you go on a mission?
I did.
Where did you go?
To London, England.
That's where my sister went.
No way.
Yeah, like long before, but she's older. But anyway.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
So yeah.
Was that a good experience for you?
No, I loved the country. I loved London.
Right.
The mission part was not, because it was always, if only I could do this, then I'll be fixed, or God would make me normal. If only I could get on a mission.
If I baptize 10 people, then I'll be saved. And
yes, if I get married, then
right, all the things.
All the steps, and eventually, you realize
it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter what you do.
Not going away.
Yeah.
So if you're listening and you have a relative, a young person in your life who is going through something like that, it doesn't change. It's not going away. Like, it's not a fad. We can get more on that later.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I want to stick on you. I want to stick on
me.
Well, because it's about you. So did you get married then?
I did.
Married to a woman.
Yes, to
and
a
children.
Cisgender woman. Does your audience know what cisgender means?
Yes, tell us what cisgender means. CIS.
CIS gender. Basically means your assigned gender at birth matches your gender identity.
Right.
So you are a cisgender man.
Yes, I was assigned male at birth, and I identify as a man. As
male. Yes, whereas
male.
It's the opposite of transgender.
Right.
Whereas transgender, like me, I was assigned my sex gender assigned at birth does not match my gender identity.
Okay.
So, and I think those are from Latin words. Trans means across. And cis, CIS, means on the same side.
On the same side. Okay.
Yeah. So I think it's funny when some people online make this big fuss that they don't like being called cisgender. Well, that's the literal meaning. That's the literal meaning of the word. That you are the gender you were assigned to.
Yes. So
anyways, going back to what was your question?
I don't know.
Oh, I came home from my mission.
Yes, you married
a cisgender woman.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
And we're not married anymore. We got divorced a couple of years ago after 22 years of marriage.
Okay.
So it was, we're best friends. She's always going to be someone really important in my life.
Oh, nice. And you're co-parenting your children together.
We have one daughter who is 18. Yeah, we're co-parenting. And I see it as she's still my family.
Right.
Our family is just expanded and changed. Our family has always been a little different.
Well,
so families don't have to look or be a certain way, and
exactly,
we're okay with that.
Do you watch Ted Lasso?
I love Ted Lasso, and it's my favorite show I'm watching right now.
Okay, excellent. Yes. So the latest one, he makes a call to his wife, and she did something that he didn't really like, and he's like, "Honey, we're stuck together. We're gonna share grandkids. I love you, and I love our son, and we need to do this together."
Yeah.
So there's not anything that's like, you can't break up a family like that, I guess. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, people do, but what's the point if you're going to share grandkids if that happens, whatever, so let's make a family.
Yeah.
Anyway. Okay. Well, that's awesome. So you've been divorced a couple of years. At what point then, how old were you when you decided you'd have enough? You were like, I can't do this anymore. How long ago was that? Or was there a point?
Are you talking about when I came out and started, came out as transgender?
Yes.
This is who I am.
Yeah. At what point, how old were you at that point? Do you know? Do you remember?
I think I was 37-ish. 30, yeah.
So that's pretty recent.
8 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah. Something like that.
Yeah.
And it was scary. Because I had grown up, I had imagined what would happen, and I see how trans people are depicted on TV and movies, and
And treated in real life.
Right. Treated in real life, fired from their jobs.
Yeah.
Their family disowns them, friends want nothing to do with them. And basically how it was for them back then was moving away and starting their life over.
Right.
And that's what I imagine I would have to do.
Like that's the only way out, right?
Right. Is go somewhere where nobody knows you and just start a new life.
Yeah. And that didn't work for you because you had the wife and child, right?
Yeah, that was hard.
Yeah.
So
I think that's like such a huge act of courage for anyone that goes through that. I'm not gonna say has to go that. For anyone that goes through that, like that's just such a huge act of courage to me. Like, I don't know.
It was scary, and I did lose some friends, and
bless you, and bless your friends that moved away. It's fine. Bless you, bless your little hearts.
It's fine. It's fine. But the few friends I lost, I made up for and gained dozens more.
I'm glad to hear that.
Friends. So, and yeah, there's been some family members who have struggled with it, and still struggle. But I try and give them grace and
grace. I know. No, I was thinking about that word today. I saw a book that's like something by grace. I was like, that book is being shown to me for a reason because everybody needs grace. Everyone needs grace.
I don't know who she is, but we all need her.
We all need grace.
But no, I think some people maybe need a little bit more time to get there where they're supposed to be.
So side note, so my dad, we were riding to, I think it was Thanksgiving. Oh, it was Thanksgiving. We were riding out to Thanksgiving dinner, and he's like, now tell me about this. What does trans mean or something? I mean, he's just like, he'd heard it on the news.
Is this recently or is this?
Yeah, this is.
Okay.
And so I have a comical story to go with it. But so, but he's like, what is the deal? Like, it's kind of like Jerry Seinfeld. So what's the deal with these trans? What's going on with this whole thing? And so I said, Dad, it's just not for us to know. Like, it's not, you don't feel that way. So it's not for you to judge. I don't feel that way. It's not for me to judge. But it's definitely, I just said, we just have to leave it in God's hands. Like, it's his deal. If there is a God, then it's their deal, right? If there's not a God, then whatever, it's fine. But if there is a God, then we'll find out later. If you believe in God, then just trust your God that they know the answer and it'll be taken care of, right? That's what I say.
Yeah, and it's normal for most people not to, like we talked about, most people don't know a transgender person, and so it's normal for people who haven't been exposed to people like me to be afraid of,
but
someone who's different.
And the person's different, so I'm gonna be feared.
I am pretty scary.
Look, obviously
you all should be afraid.
Look at Anne, seriously scary. She did wear her Hellfire Club t-shirt. She's like, is this okay? From, right? And I'm like, no, what's it from?
Stranger Things.
Oh,
have you seen Stranger Things?
I watched the first couple. I can't do the Stranger Things. I know, but I just don't do well with
not really
like aliens and
monsters?
Gore and I don't know, the whole thing.
You gotta love monsters.
So side note, back to my dad really quick.
Okay.
So my dad was like, he was doing drag long ago. Oh yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah. So he told a story that they were going to a party. He got some dress from one of my aunts that was her maternity dress. So he had the wig, the dress, the whole thing, and he would dress up in drag to go to parties.
Right. It was a costume.
It was a costume.
Yep.
And he thought it was pretty funny, especially when he went to the grocery store and he held the door. Oh, a gentleman held the door for him, I guess. Yeah, he went to the grocery store to cash a check, and the guy held the door, and my dad walked past and said, "Thank you very much," as the deepest voice as he could, to trick the guy, whatever, So he told that story.
How'd the guy?
Of course, the guy, whatever, yeah.
Right.
So
right.
I said, "Dad, that's just like you, and that drag is just like you." Putting on Aunt whoever's dress and going to the grocery store. That's all it is.
Right.
It's just a costume. It's a performance. It's
yeah.
And I keep seeing the meme that like drag has been comedy. You've been laughing about drag for years. I mean, going back years and years. Milton Berle did drag. White Christmas, they wore women's clothes and did a dance. Like it's not anything new. But let's vilify. Yeah. Also, now it's just we have something we can vilify.
The Three Stooges did drag.
Right.
There were so many. Okay, if you want to watch a good documentary.
Okay, please.
Netflix has a documentary called Disclosure.
Disclosure?
Yes. Disclosure.
I don't have my glasses on, so I have to look up that. Disclosure on Netflix, okay?
Yes. And it's a documentary that examines how trans people have been portrayed through the years in media.
Okay.
Movies, television.
Right.
All the way back to the 1930s when, silent movies.
Right.
Yeah, and it hasn't been good. I'll give you.
It's been less than favorable. Spoiler alert. Haven't been the kindest.
Growing up, one of my favorite movies was what's that? Jim Carrey, Ace
Ventura, yeah.
Pet Detective. You've seen that, right?
Yeah.
Yes. The villain is a transgender woman who murders people, murderer.
All right.
Not portrayed very well. And
right.
Also Silence of the Lambs, the villain in there, the transgender person. So that was part of my thinking growing up, and transgender people are horrible.
Yes.
And why would I want to be something like that? And
that's like
no transgender person ever has chosen to be this way. If part of one of the hardest thing I had to do was accept that I'm transgender.
This is who I am.
Yes. I would have given anything to be cisgender. Now I'm actually proud of who I am.
Right.
Because I get to experience life very differently than the mass majority of people. So
also along that lines, there's people that are saying, how come there are so many more? How come it seems like there are so many more coming out now as a different identity than there were back then?
Yes.
And we just say, well, because it's finally okay.
It's safer.
It's finally safe-ish, safe.
Right.
We're not going to say it's safe.
It's not completely safe, but it's safer than had I come out in my
20 years before.
Teenager. Yeah. It would not go well. Transgender people have always existed.
Right.
It's just it's becoming more,
Safer.
we are becoming more accepted.
Yes.
And so safer to come out.
Yes.
There's still, families.
It's still a shit show. Yeah. Let's be honest about it.
Not great, but
right.
At least it's getting better.
And they likened it to being left-handed. So when kids were going to school early on, whatever, and they tried to write with their left hand, they'd get beat, they'd get hit, whatever.
They were forced to learn
with their right hand. Yeah. Well, then when they finally accepted that people could be left-handed, well, look at that. There's way more people who are left-handed.
Yeah.
Same with queer adult. I mean, I saw a kid that wrote a letter to his family about him being gay, and he's like, it's not like we don't talk about so-and-so in our family who died alone and so-and-so in our family who, you know what I mean?
Right.
They're just because, anyway, queer people, transgender men and women are not anything new. It's just that it's accepted more widely. So people are finally coming out, right?
Right. Yeah. You hit it exactly.
Yeah.
And I do want that disclosure documentary.
On Netflix, yes.
There is some, because it examines movies and media, there is some nudity with
okay,
because of the movies it examines.
Right. Okay. So parental guidance suggested on that movie.
You don't,
if you're offended by things.
Right. You want to make sure it's audience appropriate.
Right. So. Is there any other movie, book, anything like that you would point people to say this is a really good place to learn?
Probably not any other movies.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of some books. I know there are books out there written by transgender people.
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of them.
Can't think of right now. It's fine.
Yeah, I'll think of them on my way home.
Oh, so you can just text me those. I'll put them in the notes.
That works.
Okay.
What's our next question now?
I don't know. Is there anything else that you can think of? So the process of coming out, how was that for you? Like you said, it was, you're afraid, but overall, how would you say, give it a rating? 10 of 10 would not recommend. I don't know. 5 out of 10, not for the faint of heart. I don't know.
Well, it was either I got to a point where I either had to come out or I was going to
end your life.
Those were my options. Right. And before I do something extreme, maybe I'll try something still extreme,
but still less, that's safer for you.
Right.
Keeping you on the planet.
Yes.
That's what I like to think of. Can we just keep as many people on the planet as possible?
Right.
For as long as they, you know what I mean? Like, let them fulfill their life.
If they're not bothering you, if their life isn't, doing anything to yours, then
right.
Yeah.
And I keep seeing the word grooming. The word grooming is being thrown around a lot.
It does get,
and that's one that's really bothering me as well. I just think there's no there's no society of trans people that get together and have meetings on how to recruit more people to become trans, right? Like
that is.
But isn't that what it sounds like?
It does sound like that.
So just for the record, I'm just going to say quite clearly, there's not one trans person that I can think of. Well, I don't know very many that would, but it's not on a few. You know a couple. It's not on anyone's radar that they're going to try to recruit people to become trans.
I'm recruiting your kids.
It's just like people recruiting to be gay. Like most people, I mean, from our generation, no one wants to put a kid through that. You know, no matter how easy it's getting, it's not easy. It's still not recipe for an easy life.
It's
by in any way, shape, or form.
And my dad has grown a lot over the years, and he's had his own journey, and to be able to accept that he has a daughter now instead of a son. And for the longest time, that was one of the hardest things for him. Was he didn't want my life to be hard,
right?
And let's face it, being transgender today is hard. It's not easy.
So that's what
that was his biggest thing. He didn't want to see me, his child, struggling. And I get that as a parent. I don't want to see my daughter have a hard life. And but going back to this grooming thing.
Back to the grooming conversation. It's not happening, okay? Just FYI.
It's not. I've had the experience of being invited to speak at gay straight alliances in schools, which
amazing.
I've loved. Amazing, yes. And
can you imagine if we had those when we were that age? Like
my growing up for me would have been completely different if I had seen someone like myself.
Yes.
A healthy person. It would have been completely different for me.
Right.
My world would have.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm glad that young people today are seeing that, transgender people aren't this horrible, scary thing that
there's no one grooming your children.
We're not. I just want your transgender kids to stay alive. Stay in their bodies.
To live.
That's
in their bodies.
All I want.
Live an adult life.
Yes.
Live to live their hopes and dreams.
Exactly.
Have you watched the show Heartstoppers on Netflix?
I have not.
You haven't? It's so cute.
What is it about?
It's a teenage gay love story.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very diverse cast. So they have a trans person in the cast, a trans woman in the cast. So anyway, it's very cute.
I need to watch it then.
Okay. Anyway,
Heartstoppers.
So do we need to say that one more time? There's no grooming. There's no recruiting. There's no
We're
society
not for your kids. And
I don't think there's
to make them trans.
I haven't looked this up, but I'm pretty sure there's not a society of trans person for the growth of the trans community. I don't know, whatever it is. You just let it go. It's just not.
We don't talk about that.
Yeah, no, we do. It's just not. It's just
not a thing. No.
Anyway.
No.
I think I beat that up. Anyway.
You did great. Thank you. Thank you.
So, since then, you're dating. Are you still dating someone?
I'm dating
a few people.
I'm not. You're
not
in
a committed.
Serious.
Oh, okay. No. You had a couple of good dates with someone recently.
Yes.
I was like, okay.
Yes, I'm still figuring out.
Okay.
So, another thing we need to talk about. Is
let's go.
There is sexual orientation.
Right.
Who you're attracted to.
Yes.
And that is different than gender identity.
Right.
So
two different things.
Gender identity is who I am. I'm a female.
Right.
Sexual attraction is who I am attracted to. Men, women.
Yes.
For the longest time, I thought I was completely straight and only attracted to men. after some growing and some personal development, I realized it's maybe not as clear cut as that.
Right.
I used to think, no, it would be so affirming I would see straight couples, and I would want to be the woman, and I saw other women as, I don't want to say threats, but I wanted to be the feminine person. I didn't.
Okay.
If that makes any sense. And I struggle. What if my partner was prettier than I? I know that sounds so stupid right now, but this is what my brain was thinking.
We don't label our feelings like that, so you don't need to think of it.
I'm not straight. I'm definitely not on each extreme. I'm not.
So you're somewhere
super
in the middle.
Gay. I'm somewhere in the middle.
Okay, so, excellent.
Yeah, but trans people can be gay or straight or bisexual or pansexual, just like cis people can.
Just like cis people can.
Yeah. Anyways, so I didn't mean to
No. I know. I appreciate that. That's a good thing to mention. And I also wanted to say, just for the layman's terms, that's not for us to judge either.
Yeah. And I'm still figuring out. And
I think that just goes for everything, right? Like, that's not for me to judge. Like, you're in your life, you're living your own life, you're not bothering anyone else with that life, right? No. So Anne could just be doing her thing, like living in an apartment. This doesn't have anything to do with you. Like, that's just fine. Yeah. Well, I just like to make it a point.
Awesome. I love it.
I just think if we could all just, this is what I think needs to happen. Everybody just have a conversation with someone that's not like them.
Yes.
Right?
Find someone who is very different than
someone
you.
that is the opposite of you.
Yes.
Sit down for 1 hour and ask them about their life and say, oh, wow, you know what? This person's just like me. They also have to go to the bathroom someday during the day. Everybody poops.
The same thing. There is no trans agenda. Just like, you have your gay agenda. There's no trans agenda.
Well, the gay agenda.
And going back to Ted Lasso, one of my favorite things is
such a good show.
Yes, he said in one of the episodes, like, be curious.
Right.
Like, it's so easy to just stay in your comfort area and only associate with people who were like you.
Right.
But be curious about people who aren't like you.
Yeah.
Maybe people you wouldn't normally associate or talk with. And that's what Jesus did.
Well, maybe.
I
just kidding.
I think that's what Jesus did.
I think so too. All right.
Okay.
Anything else that you can think of that's pertinent?
Not right now, but
all right.
I might.
Thank you so much for just being willing to do this.
I'm so honored that you wanted me on your podcast.
Well, I just kept thinking about it, and like I said, I keep seeing so much division in our country. I keep seeing so much contention and just things that are the opposite of coming together, and things that are the opposite of, like, neighborly love. So
the other day there was a legislator in Florida who referred to trans people as mutants and demons. And here I have on my demon shirt.
I'm like, well, you are wearing your Hellfire shirt, so
I'll take that as a compliment.
Yeah. I know. I just don't. I don't get it. Well, I do get it. It's just division. It's just sowing seeds of division. That's all it is.
Yeah, and being afraid of what you don't understand. Or, people who are different than you. And we've seen it time and time again. People, who are different.
let's just not vilify someone who's different than us.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
And just because you don't understand, that doesn't matter. It's not your journey.
Mm-hmm.
If it was your journey, you might be a little more. And then there's people that aren't interested in investigating whether or not that is their journey. You know,
right?
Like most people are like, this is where I'm at. I'm not doing anymore. But if it's not your journey, then let that person that's over there just live their life. You know.
We all just want to be happy.
Everyone wants to be happy.
Everyone just wants to be happy. And
I mean, I think everyone wants to be happy in their own way.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I hate to beat that horse, whatever.
No, you did a good job beating
it.
Waited.
All right. So my final question for everyone that I have on my podcast is, well, I didn't ask you that, but that's okay. Is there a cause that you're passionate about that if everyone watching and listening donated $1, where would you want that to go? And you said?
I said Equality Utah.
Okay.
Because they are...
I'm going to put the right one up.
Yes. They're in, of course, Utah.
Yeah.
And they try and fight bills that are harmful to people like me. I want to be able to be free to use the restroom in public. I know that's a scary thing.
Horrible.
If you saw me walking in the restroom, or stuff like that, then I just want to. I like
that they're just having bathrooms now. So I go to a lot of care centers, rest homes, that kind of thing.
Right. And
they're not doing gender assigned bathrooms. They're just having restrooms.
Regular bathrooms.
Look, it's 2 restrooms next to each other.
Yeah, I'm not. All I want to do is go pee.
That's really all I want to do.
I'm not.
No one's interested in seeing anything. You're not going to.
I don't want.
She was shown porn at a tender young age, so she knows what it looks like. Doesn't need to see anyone else's parts and pieces, and just as much as you don't want to see mine. Yeah, exactly. I don't want to see yours, but anyway, Equality Utah. Yeah, if you don't live in Utah, if you want to donate to equality.org, I think what's it called? The National-wide Equality.
Yeah, I think so.
I can't remember what it's called. Like my friends asked me this last week, and I'm like, I don't know the best place to donate. I know a lot of places here in Utah, but I think for nationwide, I think Equality is a good one.
There's another one I'm trying. It's on the tip of my tongue, and of course I can't.
Okay. We can't remember things while we're here, but
as I'm driving home.
Yeah. Make a little list. Just do a little voice memo and just be like, following things to send to Johnny. Okay. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure.
Sorry, I'm not really into quilting.
Oh, it's fine. No, you're a friend. The podcast is about making for mental health.
Oh, okay.
Do you make anything with your hands?
I'm into music and stuff.
Oh, well, there you go. We could talk about music.
Yeah.
Gosh darn it.
Next time.
Well,
thanks for having me.
I really appreciate it. Yeah. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, feel free to make a comment. If it's kind, we're accepting kind comments only.
And if you don't have any transgender friends, I'm happy to be your trans friend.
Now, that's like going pretty far.
That is pretty far.
But no, just, I don't know, just be curious. That's a good thing to say. Be curious about someone other than yourself.
Yeah.
The dogs are getting restless, so
it's time.
It's time to call it quits. Okay. That concludes another episode of the Quilty Friends podcast. Thank you, Anne, for being my guest today. I really appreciate coming down. Thanks. And again, be kind to one another. Just be kind. It's not hard. Just
golden rule.
Golden rule.
Yeah.
Do unto others as you'd have done unto you. All right. Thanks so much, Anne. I really appreciate it. Okay. Have a good one.